So, this episode is what I asked for, but I'm not sure whether it is what I wanted.
Intro?
Hi, and welcome to the third installment of me discussing each episode of Rick and Morty Season 5. I've already discussed each season separately. I will link my playlist of all Rick and Morty videos up here. But if you prefer to start with the first Season 5 video, it will go up here now. So, in this series, I spoil everything. You should watch this after you watch the episode. This is not should you watch a video. It's a discussion of it, so you should have it watched. And also I have it split into 3 categories. So the first is continuity. How does this episode play into my wish for continuity for the show? I'll get back to it. Second part is the general themes and plot and quality of the episodes. And then in the third segment, I address psychology of the characters, or what I should add about them, what doesn't get discussed in the themes section. So when it comes to continuity, of course, I cannot really tell whether this season is going to have continuity, whether there will be some kind of a general plotline in the background. One of my favorite seasons, and definitely my favorite structurally, was season 3, where the back plotline of the whole season was Beth and Jerry's divorce and everybody's reaction to it. I don't have lipstick on. Divorce. Then season 4 was the worst season ever. And now in this season, I would also like the season to have like a something in the background. I think I can safely say I am 80% sure that there's not going to be a big plotline such as divorce in the background of the episodes, but still there can be something akin to season 2, where if you watch the season in order, then you can see that each character goes through a personal journey of sorts. And I think I can hope for that. But I would like to point out that each episode of this season feels very distinctive. Episode 2 was outright stated in text to be a special episode, so a self-contained independent episode that we have confirmed. We can be 99% sure that episode 2 was the special episode. But also, there was no mention of portal gun so far. In general, Rick is acting way more caring than he was in this episode particularly. So actually, my theory is that it's possible that in this season, every episode is not even about our main C-137 Rick. I don't think it was, I'm pretty sure C-137 was not said, definitely not in episode 2, but I don't think his designation was mentioned in episode 1 or episode 3. So, right now, my 2 biggest theories is that either there is going to be some sort of continuity in the sense of consistent character development, or the other option that this season is actually contains season 1 style self-contained episodes, but in case of this season, it's not even the same Rick in every episode. We'll see where it goes, you know? And when it comes to the plot of the episode, it opens with breaking. I'm sorry if there is murmur in the background. It's my fan, providing cool air. And the second thing I wanted to mention is that I have this thing called, in Polish, kwas chlebowy, in, I don't know, Ukrainian, kwas bogatirski. I don't know, I'm sorry if I'm bad. Sort of like, in English, bread acid. This is a type of soda, pretty traditionally brewed, and I don't know, I haven't had it in quite a while, in years probably. So because of the terrible vat of acid episode, sorry, I don't like that one, I thought that I'll drink it and it will be very topical. Never mind. Themes of this episode. It opens with Morty meeting Planetina for the first time. Planetina is a clear Captain Planet, the 90s cartoon character, either parody or knockoff, but I don't think... Okay, so the design is clearly a knockoff. But when it comes to themes, I don't think that the character is meant to comment on the show so much, as more so it's environmental message. I'll get back to it later. So he sees Planetina, he's a crush, they go on a date. And because of that, during Smith family breakfast, which is again a theme in this season, I feel. Is it? I don't think every episode ever started with a breakfast, but I think every episode this season so far started with a breakfast, at least post opening credits. So they're eating breakfast, and Morty is still in awe of Planetina. She's getting some media coverage, so he wants to go where she is at the moment and bond with her more. Because of that, he rejects Rick's offer to go on an adventure, and then Rick invites Summer as a second choice. And that's in theme with Summer's portrayal this season, because it seems to me this season that Summer is allowed to be cool, kind of, but as long as she stays in her place. So now that Morty is not there, she can be invited. The adventure Rick proposes is to go party at 3 separate planets that are going to disappear in an apocalypse in the next 24 hours or whatever, and there they are meant to, as per John Mulaney's words,
eat ass, suck a dick, and sell drugs.
I don't know whether I'm going to post this video. Anyhow, oh yeah, that's the stuff. It does not taste... It does taste like bread, frankly, but like bread Coca-Cola, like bread root beer. Go get some of that. I feel that's a very manly flavor. I don't know how to explain it, but I think if you like typical manly, say beers, you will like this. Get it, go buy it. Not buying that is an act of buying that. Spend your money. Anyhow, Morty has success with Planetina. They start to date, and there are some obstacles in a way, because on one hand, Planetina has kids. These kids are the kids that have rings, which, if used at the same time, have the power to summon Planetina. These kids are now adults, mid-40s, and it creates a weird dissonance, because first and foremost, we don't know how old Planetina is. Depending on the context, we know that she is ageless, but we don't know whether we should perceive her as a teenage girl or should we perceive her as a grown woman. If she's with Morty, we seem to perceive her as a grown woman, but if she's with her kids, we seem to perceive her as a teenager. And also, it's because the kids are exploiting Planetina. They are allowing her to do her world saving, ecological planet saving, but they are profiting of her. She has a convention, she has merch, they are treating her kind of like Britney Spears and teenage pop stars are treated in general. So this treatment of her is particularly relevant and topical. I don't know how much the Free Britney movement was considered when the episode was created, but it's particularly relevant because of the recent news that her petition to remove her father from her conservatorship was denied. So in general, the Britney discourse, so people having decisive power over women, over female pop stars, over Britney in particular, is relevant. The Planetina storyline reminds you of that. They don't really comment on it too much, except for saying that it's bad. What else can I say? Planetina's kids and Captain Planet's kids are very similar. In both, there is a Russian woman controlling air, a child or an adult lady. There is also a white ginger-haired guy controlling fire, but the Asian woman in Rick and Morty has the power of dirt, whereas there she has the power of water, and the black guy here has the power of water, and there he has the power of earth. So when two are flipped, The heart power guy is gone, which makes sense. It's ridiculous and not really important when it comes to the environmental message. And when it comes to Planetina as an adult, too old for Morty, Beth considers Planetina to be way too old for Morty, and she's wholly opposed to the relationship. Because of that, Morty runs away, they get together, Morty defeats or straight up murders Planetina's kids or her captors, depending on your perspective. Both, actually. When they get together, Planetina starts to escalate and do more and more damage. Her actions are getting more and more radical. She doesn't hesitate to kill people in order to further her ecological agenda. Morty opposes that, so they break up, and Morty breaks his first heart. I think he had mutual breakups before, but he didn't break any hearts before. Though, I think it's ridiculous. All Morty's relationships were with hot adult women, even though he's a 14-year-old boy. It's kind of icky in general, his romantic relationship situation. I don't know how to feel about Planetina because we still don't know whether she's a teenager or should we treat her as an ancient lady. You know what it reminds me of? Edward Cullen in The Twilight. Should we accept him as a 17-year-old boy because he is frozen in time, a hormonal teenager, or should we consider the fact that he's over 100 years old and lived through wars, killed people and stuff, you know? What should we look at? Still, Morty ends the episode single with his mother consoling him. But when it comes to Rick and Summer, they party hard. At least on the first planet, because on the first planet, Rick finds an alien lady, an old alien lady that he crushes on. Because of that, he saves her from the apocalypse. They party together on the second planet, leaving Summer in the background. And by the third planet, it turns out that the lady was just there to survive apocalypses, and she didn't really care about Rick, which Summer proves. And Rick kind of appreciates her showing him that the lady didn't really care. I'm not going to go too much into this plotline. By the way, the smaller plotlines I learned are called B plotlines by the show's this B plotline. I'm not going to comment much on it here because I'm saving it for the psychology of characters discussion. In general, the ending of the episode is sad. The Rick and Morty B plotline has a hopeful ending. Summer says, I love you. Grandpa just says, don't make it weird. He doesn't really shun her, so it's good for her. But Morty is crying in his mother's lap, so it has a sad ending for him. And so it feels like one of the more profound episodes. I think at least as profound as season 3 and 4 finales, because it's so deep and people relate to them so much. Now, quality control of the episode. Let me start, or at least continue till the end. When Summer and Rick are on an alien planet, in the background there is an alien who says, oh, I love having gay sex with you, Dad. And my mind went, I really hope they don't continue with that. So of course they did. The end credits scene is the aftermath of the dad and son who had sex thinking that the apocalypse is about to come. Bad wording, we'll stand by it. I didn't really love it. I mean, I guess you can either appreciate the joke of it or not. I didn't. It didn't really amuse me. But when it comes to the quality of the episode, I think it was pretty solid. I am a bit emotionally tangled because I love the main plotline with Morty and I felt that it was handled with care. I really loved the Planetina themes. In general, the flavor of the episode was environmental, nihilism. And the show clearly pointed that we're, ecologically speaking, past the point of no return. So while Morty cannot justify being with a person who commits genocide in order to save the planet, it is, I feel, implied that her actions are also justified in the sense that they make sense if your ultimate value and goal is preserving the natural state of the planet or preserving the current state of the planet because you cannot really go back and improve upon it. The situation is dire. So I like this environmental messaging. I really enjoyed Morty's relationship. I felt it was very mature. I really also enjoyed that the episode didn't really reference many things. The two main references or things that I feel can be references are, well, Captain Planet, but it doesn't really count because it's so outright. But apart from that, there are only, I'd say, two references. First one is more outright because by the end of the episode, Rick says that he appreciates Summer averting apocalypse just to prevent one stupid relationship and promising that he would do the same for her. And the kick is that he already did the same for her. In season 3, episode 2, he kind of prevented or stopped post-apocalypse in order to destroy her stupid relationship with Hemorrhage. Mind you, he took back the stone that improved that world, so he ruined it again. But for a while, he prevented apocalypse in order to ruin Summer's stupid relationship and make her realize that it's pointless. So his words are not empty if, mind you, if this is our Rick and we can hope for continuity. The other thing is that I love that Planetina is summoned by rings. Morty obtained all of them, but then is not seen wearing them. I think we can assume or hope that he disposed of them or gave them back to Planetina. And that is not, I think he would have been capable of in his previous relationships. I think possibly maybe his relationship with Balthroma, the dragon, where he owned a dragon, made him realize that owning the other person or having so much hold over another person is bad. So it was very mature of him to dispose of them. And that's the reference, or maybe just continuity, the fact that he improved in each of his relationship. And this episode worked. If we don't take into account that Planetina was kind of a genocidal murderer, the breakup over contrasting values, a mature breakup, just having a conversation is a lot, and I appreciate that. So I don't know how to rate this episode. I feel that it's good, it's solid. I like the A plotline. I have some qualms about the B plotline, which I will explore in a second. I feel that it was good. We'll see how I feel about it later. If that second segment, so the quality control segment, seems a little bit disjointed, is because I'm trying to preserve the structure of psychology of character development coming in third, or at least in a separate segment, because I feel it deserves it. It's a work in progress. If I'll see that it won't make sense to separate psychology of characters as a segment, then I won't keep it in the next episode. But here, I feel there is a lot to say. And what I lacked from my quality control segment is my thoughts on Summer and her character development. In general, Summer is right now allowed to be a badass as long as she stays in her lane, but I feel that she's becoming, even though it was outright stated that Beth is just like Rick, she made the choice to become more domesticated and be more of a mom figure and just be committed to her family. So she's, even though she has a potential to be like Rick, she made different choices. I'll get back to Beth. Summer, though, is becoming very much like the Rick of the first and second season, just caring about getting high and getting drunk. And while it was already discussed, I think, though, Summer and drug use can be seen as a continuous process. In season 1, episode 10, there was this party with Abradolf Linkler and stuff, where because she just wanted to party to get popular, she lost the popularity and her friends, so she decided to party just to get wrecked. And that, I think, translates to her attitude towards partying. She becomes more and more dependent, she says in the Pickle Rick episode that she just likes getting high. In the Gaia episode of season 4, Summer also proceeds to get high, But in this episode, she's just off the rails. She just parties. I mean, in this episode, she has her heart broken. But she takes so much drugs. It is not shown but implied that she has so much sex. And let me remind you, okay, I thought that Morty should turn 16 this year. That he must have been, because we've already had 2 Christmases at least. He was 14 the first season. I thought that he must be turned 16 this season, but no. Beth says now that he's 14, so
Summer
has to be 16. This 16-year-old girl just dreams about taking drugs and eating ass, and that's what she did this whole episode. So that's the root of my mixed feelings. I know that Planetina is of indeterminate age, and Morty is also put somewhat in sexual situations, kind of, or implied to want sex. But there's a difference between portraying teenagers wanting sex or having sex with their partners, you know, and having a teenage character who's just loves sex so much and drugs. My feelings are very conflicted about Summer in this particular area, but still, let me just, I'm not going to sweep it under the rug, but I feel that I've talked about it enough. Let me just get back to this B plotline of Summer and Rick. Summer, as I said, parties hard, but also she parties, or maybe allows herself to party so hard because Rick commits to doing with her. After she realizes that Rick broke his word and starts a relationship and falls in love, she stops taking drugs. So, because she doesn't really want to party alone. So maybe this whole drug taking is just her way of trying to find a bond with somebody, presumably mostly Rick. Maybe that's I've already said in my previous episodes that Summer at this point is the person who cares about Rick's validation the most. So maybe her whole acting like Rick is just a desperate call for Rick to notice her. But only after she stops taking drugs and just partying for this episode, she pulls a Rick, when she shows how the woman that Rick is in a relationship with just uses him to survive, which, fair call, to be honest. Who wouldn't do the same? Rick goes back to himself and praises her for pulling a Rick. So, I don't know. Who is Rick right now? Here, Rick chases love, chases relationships, and he frames it as the rules are to party hard, so by finding a relationship he actually breaks the rules and stays gangsta. But to be honest, I think that he's just ashamed of admitting that he actually craves a close relationship. He's pretty isolated from his family right now. Nobody except for Summer, who he doesn't care about too much, values him too much. So I think Summer was the favorite kid and he was the alpha of the family. Now they are the underdogs, to be honest. I'd say even Jerry has a higher position than Summer and Rick. So maybe we will see more bonding moments between the two of them, because by the end he kind of comes back to being himself and being more rational. Yeah, we'll see about that. I'd also like to point out that Jerry's situation. Jerry is featured in the A plotline, so with Planetina and Morty. And he's just completely disconnected. They are playing a board game. He just pays attention to the board game. Nothing happens in his mind. No thoughts, head empty. Beth, though, is very in tune into what's happening. She's very set on preventing the relationship and very invested in being a mom in general. And I've seen some comments on the subreddit that people are saying that she's maternal at last. Well, no, she's maternal at last towards Morty. She's been failing him as a mom for most of the time. But she's been a pretty good mom to Summer before, and getting better the more she accepted her choice to stay in a relationship. She's been a good mother in the episode where Summer turned with Beth's help, into this huge reversed giant. She also mothered the heck out of Summer in the Was it the toilet episode? The toilet episode with the dating app. She also mothered Summer quite a lot, but here she's at her best as a mom. She's still not amazing. I don't think she has the tools to be the best mom ever, but she's clearly invested and offers comfort and is there for Morty and tries to argument with him, just point out the just poorness of his choices. I don't know if that's how you say that in English. And the last person is Morty. Morty is now a certified badass, which people shouldn't be surprised about it. I mean, the first 2 seasons he's pretty lame in the terms of skills and situation in life. In the 3rd season, he kind of becomes more emotionally distanced from Rick even more and becomes a stronger character. In season 4, episode 1, he has a whole arc by himself where he utilizes Rick's weapons to kill a bunch of people. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that now he's pretty dangerous even without any weapons. I think it's a very consistent character development, and he has a very touching monologue where he says notes. He says that the act of hearing what I have to say is some exhausting chore to everybody. He says that he's met hundreds of people, but only Planetina makes him belong, and they just get her out of the house. In general, he points out that nobody in the household thinks that he can say or do anything right, and he feels very distanced from them. So I think it's a very good, logical next step in his character development. First it was divorcing from Rick, then it was finding himself. That was season 3. Season 4 is just exercising his right to be independent in a sense, and now he's fully capable of just having his own plotline, his own things. And now in general in therapy, it sometimes feels like it's never ending, because once you find equilibrium and deal with the more immediate problems, the more relevant problems, you just deal with them, newer or older or bigger things occur that you have to deal with now. It's a never-ending process. So his issue now being the distance from the family makes a lot of sense, especially since he was the least favorite child in text since episode 1, season 1, or whatever it was said. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think in general the character work really elevates this episode, and I don't want to rate it yet because I have to sort my feelings, very fresh feelings, on how outright sexual Summer is being in this episode, but I feel that it has, if I find it acceptable, it has the potential to be good. The psychological work is very solid, and the episode I think is solid, especially the plotline, the whole Planetina plotline. So I guess that's it. If you're here from Reddit, drop a like, please. I would appreciate some of my statistics carrying over to this platform. But yeah, so I appreciate all of y'all who come from Reddit, and if you don't come from Reddit, I appreciate you as well. Hang in there. There will be another video this Friday, and see y'all later. Subscribe if you want to see more Rick and Morty content, and in the meantime you have plenty to watch already, which I linked like 28 times. Before I go, that Planetina is voiced by Alison Brie, and which people treat as a Community reference. I've never seen Community, and so I'm never going to talk about these references. So in the description box I'll put a reference to an article about 10 different references to Community in Rick and Morty show. Yeah, peace out, bye bye.